the beauty of the streets. I found my place to stay, 'cause now I know that you will be here with me. Like a chain of light, guiding me through the darkest night. Everything with you feels right, and tonight we build a chain of lights. Flying high like a chain of light, guiding me through the darkest night. Everything with you feels right, and tonight we build a chain of lights. We build a chain of lights. Let's build a chain of lights. I'm going in. More than just a tick, when I'm going in, I'ma make sure it's like and you guys make a big page, but when I do it too big, I mean outrageous. Who you think is dealing with doll face? I only run my kings and queens, you know, 'cause I'm the ace by the case. That's right, I said I'm going in. While you out running errands, I'm running this game, I'm in that top spot. Natural born winner, work hard, play harder, come and get it if you wanna, but yo, you better know I'm going in. I'm going in.
The LPL roars back to life here in day number 5 of week 9 as we prepare for our first match of the day here in the Shanghai Arena between Suning Gaming and Victory 5. Playoffs are still the name of the game because whoever gets knocked out of these is entirely out of the playoffs. So both teams looking to prove themselves today. Suning Gaming on your screen right now. SwordArT, the cutest support in the league. Had an interview with him earlier this year, but XiaoAL, big man with the plan in the top lane, but the most important member you're going to want to be looking at here is going to be Bobby9, who's going to be the sub 80 carry coming in. That's him on your screen right now, coming in for SMLZ from the LDL squad. This is going to be his chance to prove himself in Suning's matchup here today versus Victory 5. He's going to be up against their support Lei on your screen, and everyone on V5 just getting ready. But so are we. We're going to prepare here for the playoff contention for all the teams today on the standings. My name is Matt Niberia Clendaniel. I'm joined here by Clement Chu. And Clement, before we get into today's matches, let's talk a little bit about yesterday's, because we had some interesting performances, especially from SDG and Snake.
In the first series, we had LGD going up against Sino Dragons. Great performance on Kramer, 10+ kills on Jinx, but Sino Dragons still end the series in an anticlimactic fashion, getting 2 picks off the end of the Baron.
Snake did a little bit better, though, especially against OMG. You know, their 80 carry especially showed up really big.
Ooh, Asura was a monster yesterday. His Vayne performances totally eye-popping, goes 1v2 against the solo laners of OMG and wins out on the duel to close out the day.
And that means Snake get a little bit closer towards the top of the standings, but they are still out of playoffs, so they don't really get to do a whole lot about it. They don't get to be happy about that.
I know you're a Snake fan. You're still trying to hype them up, but they are out of playoff contention. What we are looking right now is the traffic jam of the 6th to 9th place. 4 teams holding 7 wins right now, and if they can advance to 8th, they should be locked into playoffs.
Well, it's worth noting is, again, Suning versus V5. Whoever loses this one, out of playoff contentions, and both teams have a lot riding on this. It's going to be our first matchup today, but it gets more intense as the day goes on, Clement.
Yeah, spicy one. We were talking about it. 8 wins is all it takes to get into that playoff spot. EDG, they are still looking for that one, but they're going to have to do it against very tough opposition. TOP and Invictus Gaming waiting ahead for them.
Yeah, and of course, our match of the week is going to be the final match today, RNG versus IG, and that promises to be real spicy. That one's going to be coming up at the end of the day, of course, but until then, we have some really good news. LPL is now on 9.5.
Congratulations! And with the new patch, we have 3 new champions coming back. Of course, Sylas, not technically new, but he was banned in previous patches due to his interaction with the Maiden, which didn't actually exist. So he's coming back, and he's actually coming back more as a mid laner now on 9.5. We saw a lot of Lich Bane and Proto belt builds for coming out from him, and we also have Morgana and Kayle coming into the meta.
You know, both of them have been reworked here on 9.5. Morgana just got that speed buff on the ultimate, but Kayle got an entirely new kit. She is brand spanking new, shiny and clean with new armor and everything. And that, I think, is a really interesting pickup, but I don't know how much we're going to see it.
Yeah, not really showing up a lot. Still a lot of early game weakness, but hey, if you're playing up against WE, I would say lock it in, because they're going to go late anyway. But talking about the supports from Morgana at that point, we're going to bring it to the Relic Shield line, decreases on the healing as well. A really big change to the game, because now you only get the same amount of base healing as you did on prior patches once you're below 50% health. So a lot of these bot laners, they're going to be walking around with empty health bars, and that really changes the matchups quite a bit. We have seen a lot of Enchanter supports come back. The likes of Karma, Nami, they're going to have a bigger impact because they can poke you, they can heal up their own AD carries, and on the meantime, Nocturne's also having a very fun time on this patch. A lot of easy targets for him to pick up with the Paranoia.
We've already seen the Karma paired with the Nico as well that was in a prior series, but additionally, you know, speaking of the support position, there's another pick that we might see come back now that the sustain is out of the bot lane, because there's a support that got nerfed to hell and back. Now got a compensation buff that's going to be Rakan. Got the move speed back a little bit on his W, so he might be coming back. He doesn't pick up Relic Shields, so those sustain nerfs aren't going to hurt him. He's got to heal.
Yep.
We might get to see him.
I think he's definitely coming back. Rakan Xayah is going to be there for your bot lane. He was the highest win rate champion in the LPL before the nerfs, so I just can't wait for those spicy Rakan players like Ming, like Road, to really showcase their stuff.
Yeah, and, you know, there's a ton of changes. We might see the Skarner, might see the Akali again. Probably not. But we might. There's a chance we'll see the Akali again, but the sustained nerfs hurt. But I'm going to be honest, Clement. Nothing hurts quite as much as Suning's performance as of late.
Well, I will just come out and say it. I believe Suning is the biggest disappointment of the season so far, especially after their Chinese New Year performances. Before that, they were 4-0. Everyone was on the hype train. We thought Raz was right that they were going to be a good team. They were going to contend for second place. But after Chinese New Year, they fell apart. Lowest win rate in the LPL so far, 25%. And they've been losing in a very peculiar way. All of their lanes are actually positive. If you look at their gold graph, their average gold graph is positive at all times, which is super bizarre. They're basically the coast of the LPL. And the reason they're losing is because of the B-roll we have laid out in front of you.
I think Suning's performance recently is so easy to explain. They finally live up to their logo. Majestic, beautiful, but on fire.
Yeah, they just can't secure the Barons for the life of them. They don't have good communication, and it leads to a lot of objectives lost. In this play right here, Maple, after winning a team fight, reads for a Gromp, loses his life, his team loses Baron, and that's been a consistent trend for Suning throughout this entire season. They have a 25% Baron take, the lowest in the LPL.
And, of course, the bot lane is no slouch either in terms of problems for Suning, because you cannot leave SMLZ by himself.
Yeah, that's a big problem with this team. Suning, they wanted a hyper carry insurance in SMLZ and the early roaming of SwordArT on the map. However, in actuality, they got neither. SwordArT leaves the lane, SMLZ instantly dies. And that does leave us with their new AD carry who will be playing today. You already mentioned him. That will be Babby9, excuse me. And frankly, he has an easy job for himself. Just don't die when SwordArT leaves lane. That's good enough.
Yeah, it's not the only problem they have, though, because like you mentioned, Maple was having some problems getting picked out, but they're going to be up against V5 with Jinoo in the top lane, Pepper today starting in the jungle, Korn mid, and Y4 and Road rounding out the bottom lane.
Ooh, very interesting. Road is coming back into the roster, perhaps for that Rakan pick like we were talking about.
And Suning going to be coming in with XiaoAL in the top lane, of course, Weiwei in the jungle, Angel in mid lane, Babby9 on AD carry, and SwordArT on support. So we've got 3 substitutions today.
Yep, we're not going to see Hacker or Maple in the mid-jungle positions. Angel has played 4 games this split so far. He did carry Suning Gaming to playoffs in 2018 Summer Split, which is more than the current roster can say, so that he does have his chance to come back here and kind of shore up the roster. I want to see if Suning can play a more focused game. That's the problem that Suning has had throughout the entire split. They were trying to thread together 3 different play styles. with the solo 4-1 split pushing of XiaoAL, with the hyper scaling of SMLZ, and with the early roaming action of Maple and SwordArT. However, none of these three things really gelled together, and it looked like a complete disaster.
Well, now that they have these substitutions coming in, do you think they should focus on one of them? Because personally, I feel like XiaoAL's performance has been the highlight here for Suning. He's made so many clutch plays. The 1v4 base defense on the Urgot, absolutely insane player for this team, but they don't always seem to play through him.
Yeah, definitely. XiaoAL, I think, is the man of the game and the most important part for Suning right now. There's often been comments in the chat saying 1v9, 1v9. That's exactly what XiaoAL has been doing. I think when you're playing with Angel, who's better on safer mid lane picks like the Zoe and Lissandra, and with someone who's not going to die constantly in lane, at least we hope so, in Babby 9, then that should be their game plan.
Well, a little bit lack of surprise here. We see V5 picking up the Sylas now that it is now unbanned on 9.5, and Suning look to be responding. Maybe we're hovering the Zoe, but it looks like they're going to prioritize the Lee Sin for now. But let's talk a little bit about that Sylas.
Yeah, so Sylas, we've been seeing a lot more going in towards the mid lane. Of course, he can still be played on the top side as a tank with Aftershock. He still brings Aftershock in the mid lane as well, so he's a very good flex pick. But if you do pick him in the mid lane, you want to pair him with a strong jungler and just snowball that lane. If Sylas is snowballed, he has so much engage potential that he can really carry the rest of the game from there.
And now it looks like Suning actually don't want to start trying to pick counter matchups, and they've given over the Rek'Sai to Victory 5.
That is tough. I think Korn's going to have a field day. A little bit of a history lesson, but the last time Angel met Korn was actually in the playoffs, summer playoffs of 2018, and Korn finished off the series putting Angel 0-7 on his Yasuo. So Angel has not really had the best time against Korn, and Korn might be piloting that matchup with the Sylas and Rek'Sai.
Now it looks like Suning will secure the Zoe at the very least, a very safe pick. You can see still 66% win rate over 54 games, Clement. Absolutely insane win rate coming out here. And you mentioned the Yasuo. Suning's going to ban that one away, not let Korn get a hold of that.
Yep, the Yasuo is actually more of a Angel pick so far. We haven't really seen Korn pick that one up. Very interesting to see this. And for Bobby, we checked his games in the LDL so far. Hasn't been having a great time there, but has been playing a lot of Lucian and Ezreal. Those are his go-to champions. Previously in the split, he was more of a Ashe and Varus player, so he's been switching it up a little bit, but the main thing we want to focus on is that he typically likes to pick very strong champions for lane.
And Suning just seem to be prioritizing a lot of the carry options that can be coming through the solo lanes. First the Yasuo, now the Riven. We know Jinoo's very good on that. Whereas V5 want to take away the hyper carry Vayne and the hyper scaling Vladimir. Like you said, Suning looking at this Lucian for Bobby 9.
I like what V5 are doing. I think their bans are not targeted so much as at Suning's newer players, but at their own weaknesses. The way V5 have been doing is that they've been having very good early games, but then the opponent team outscales them. And that's what really happens a lot of the times when you pick up stuff like Rek'Sai or the Sylas. So I like the answers that they're throwing here. Ashe and Tahm Kench, a great lane with a lot of global presence. V5 are still on the same game plan that they had in previous series, which is trying to snowball and win the game early.
That's a lot of safety there in the bot lane. You have the slow to kite out. You have the Tahm Kench to save the Ashe. Of course, she doesn't have mobility of her own. So I want to see how they round out this composition. They still have a solo lane left to pick up. They might be going for Jinoo. They might be going for Korn. The bans from Suning seem to suggest they think that's going to be a mid lane. And it looks like the Kennen will confirm that. Mid lane Sylas, top lane Kennen, very likely.
We will be seeing a lot of mid lane Kennens and a lot of, top lane Kennens and top lane Renekton's throughout this series. Both of these top laners are very strong with the counter picks, so neither of them are going to be willing to pick something that is unsafe on the blue side. They have to pick something that has range and is relatively okay against all matchups. So I do expect a lot of Kennen picks. Jinoo was actually quite good on the Kennen in his previous series as well against Sino Dragons, so no surprise there. And looking at this composition, we see a lot of engage potential. You have the Kennen, you have the Ashe arrow, and a lot of lanes that can be easily snowballed. I think the Rek'Sai can do a lot of damage with the Kennen and with the Sylas as well. And for Suning, it's a bit of a mixed bag on their end as well. They have a good snowball potential with the Lee Sin and the Zoe, but I'm not really sure how Weiwei and Angel match up that together. We haven't seen that many games and how they'll do. On the top side, they actually have something that needs to scale later on. This is XiaoAL's style. He likes to play the 4-1 style of champions. So I think for Suning, they're going to be more focused on going towards the bottom side of the map, while for V5, both of their solo lanes are very easy to snowball.
It's worth noting as well that the Gangplank did get a buff on this patch, so he's going to be doing a little bit better into those lanes and give XiaoAL a better chance to scale up. You know, he's the kind of player where if he's able to get going, he can take over games, but so is Jinoo. So I think this top lane is going to be a big point of contention for both teams. Like you said, V5 able to snowball it early and looking for that. But honestly, if Suning can withstand the pressure, I think their chances are looking okay.
Yeah, I think both teams now looked at the entirety of the rosters. They are more centered towards the early mid games. Everything's going to be riding on those mid game team fights for both teams, honestly. And it just depends on who gets the better early game for me. I think one of these mid laners is going to get shut down. It's Zoe Lee Sin versus Rek'Sai Sylas. So if Sylas just dies out early, he's actually a very easy champion to have a negative snowball where he doesn't have the mobility to dodge out of range from a lot of ganks. This is going to be a lot of pressure onto the mid lane, a lot of pressure onto Angel. He has to face his nemesis from 2018.
We're going to see if he's able to win the matchup or if once again Korn will emerge victorious as we come in right now to game number 1 between Victory 5 and Suning.
Oh,
that's rough, Clement.
Real rough for Jinoo early on. I can't believe top laners are still going for that brush. You never go for that brush, especially when the enemy team has someone like a Braum. We've seen that type of a pinch so many times before. And talking about the matchup, Gangplank actually has a pretty easy time against the Kennen.
Every time!
There goes the LGD chance.
Where's TSM?
The funny thing right now is LGD actually has a higher win rate than Suning after the break.
Oof. Clement, you can't just throw stats like that.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to be depressed.
I had to mention it. I had to mention I'm the most depressed one, okay? I've been seeing my LMS boys grow for so long, and to see them benched, it is really, really depressing. Taking a look at the runes of mastery so far, like we were talking about, mid lane, Sylas does usually go for the aftershock. Once you get the E knock up, you get that extra resistances, makes it much easier to trade.
It's worth noting that I'm excited for this series for a different reason than most, I think. We were joking around a little bit about this being the game of throws after V5's last series against SDG, and with Suning's stats as they are, how they can get a gold lead and then still grasp defeat from the jaws of victory time after time. I really want to see which of these teams can break their curse first. Like,
basically, you have to watch this game in full. Do not step away from the remote channel, remote control. Do not step away from the stream. Gold leads mean nothing. These guys can turn it in an instant.
That's really fun. We don't get to say that about many other teams. A lot of them were like, well, if they get to late, they'll win. If they can get through early, they win. With these two, it's like, if they win, they win. It's like coast versus coast.
I've never seen a gold graph look like that from anyone, but Suning has managed to do it. From minute 5 to minute 35, they have a positive in average gold difference throughout the entire split. And they have
impressive.
One of the worst records. So that just goes to show you the communication problems that Suning has really faced throughout the split. And I think that has to factor into the reason why SMLZ is sitting out right now. SMLZ not really known as being a great communicator, while on the other hand, SwordArT is someone that constantly talks, is usually the main shot caller for his team. So I could see those two having a bit of problems gelling together.
And speaking of problems, it looks like Korn is having a little bit of his own. We were talking about that matchup as a potential powder keg, as it were, for this game, and he is not doing well. He's a little bit down in CS, about 8 so far.
I think that's totally understandable. He's against a ranged champion, and honestly, he could flip that through. All it takes is one abscond, abduct. He lands his target along with Rek'Sai. That's a double knock-up. You can't even cleanse that, and could lead into a very easy kill. Pepper, of course, is spotted going towards the top side. XiaoAL not really being able to punish this matchup.
Didn't get the move speed buff. He's going to have to flash away, but gets stunned on the back foot. XiaoAL, first blood, taken down by Pepper.
I'm so surprised that that kill actually went through because Weiwei clearly spotted XiaoAL at the Raptors.
And the worst part was, too, Pepper didn't actually spot Weiwei as well because Weiwei was standing still clearing the Raptor camp.
Yeah.
So Suning could have had the surprise 2v2.
I honestly can't believe that that kill actually went down because Pepper was spotted at Raptors. He did fire his Q, the Prey Seeker. Didn't find Weiwei. Weiwei had to know that, and the wave was also pushing in on the top side. There was no reason for XiaoAL to actually be in that position. He could have waited for the wave. And that's just kind of the communication issues that we've been pointing out that Suning has shown throughout the entire split.
That's what we in the business call a big oof coming out here from Suning, and I think they're going to have to try and clean up a little bit of this play because this is pretty uncharacteristic for XiaoAL. We were talking about him being a consistent carry option for Suning, so him falling down to such a basic gank in the early game, a little bit concerning.
Yeah, does not bode well for Suning whatsoever. We did see Korn take Revitalize, makes a lot of sense on Sylas with your Kingslayer being able to regenerate, and also the shields coming in from Abscond. So, you know, great build right there, really using, getting the most out of the Resolve tree. XiaoAL sitting around with no flash.
Oh no. Here we go, Deja Vu's coming for you. XiaoAL knock up, where's the stun? There it is. Jinoo gonna pick up the kill. Second one on XiaoAL within 6 minutes.
You know how we were saying that this game was going to be about who can snowball the side of the map that they want to, and V5 are off to a great start. 0-2-0 on XiaoAL already. I think he should be really glad that he didn't take magical footwear, or he would be dying a lot more.
This is so surprising from him, too. This is uncharacteristically bad, but for Jinoo, this is a great start. We've seen him perform so well in this Kennen before, and now they might be able to get a pick. Road flashes away there in the bottom lane. V5 might be looking to contest this dragon.
I love that flash. You just want to preserve your HP at that point. XiaoAL should be hitting 6 quite soon, but he's going to be taking maximum punish from Jinoo. I will say, usually in this matchup, the Gangplank is actually favored because he can trade a lot easier with those parlays going through the minion wave, while the likes of Kennen can't really find a clean avenue for those shurikens. So this is actually not common in the matchup. It was a counter pick coming in from XiaoAL, and he's been losing it very, very hard.
He might be able to scale it up, but the problem is Kennen does pretty well with items too. I mean, we've seen Jinoo come in with these crazy flank engages, nearly destroying the side of Sino Dragons in their last series against them. So this is already looking scary for Suning because, as you said, it's whoever snowballs the early game, and so far V5 are doing an incredible job of doing just that.
Yep, and it's really up to Weiwei to see if he can get something going. So far, he's been spotted out trying to take the first mountain drake away from the map. Wasted a lot of time there, hasn't really found a gank yet. And at the very least, he needs to prevent XiaoAL from dying, because that flash being blown early on, you look at his items, he's very easy to take down at this point, and the Rek'Sai already has warriors. So I really just see Pepper and Jinoo just continuing to bully XiaoAL on this top side. He really needs help. I want to see how Weiwei can help him at least stabilize the lane.
At the very least, XiaoAL needed vision, because after the first gank, he didn't have a ward, didn't place anything down, so the repeat gank was free. This time, they do have wards. We're going to see Pepper already working his way back up there, and Weiwei's back, but in the bottom lane, the ultimate comes down from XiaoAL. Glacial Fissure lands on the road. That's a free pickup for them, and XiaoAL gets the kill.
Yeah, I love what XiaoAL did right there. He gets the kill and walks away instantly. Knows he doesn't have the cannon barrage, cannot survive the dive between Pepper and Jinoo, and says, you know what, I'm just out. You don't even have to tell me. I know you're there.
Redemption going to come down from the mid lane from Angel. What a generous gift coming in from the Zoe. They're chasing down onto Y4. Winter's Bite is going to land. The volley going to come in for the slow. Teleport coming out from the top lane. Jinoo does have level 6. He has flash available. Flash ult comes in. He's able to pick up one, but it's just the support. SwordArT flashes away. The volley's going to pick him up on the backside, though. Angel not quite enough damage to get anything done, and they will lose 1-for-1.
Yeah, the tip of a volley taking down Braum at the very edge. So well played there. They do get some breathing room for XiaoAL, however. Even though it was a dive, they did exchange exchange, I would say, equal resources for that. So I don't think it's too bad on Suning's side to make that.
That said, how much is breathing room really going to help XiaoAL, because he's already down 20 CS?
Well, I think that breathing room was really important because you had Rek'Sai on the top side, and you also had XiaoAL sitting without flash. So just getting that bit of a time to make it through that timing window is actually quite relevant for the Gangplank. At least he's going to stabilize this lane, and there's no summoners on the bottom lane, so Suning could repeat gank the bottom lane. I would say overall, even though it was a kill trade for a teleport, it did help Suning quite a bit.
XiaoAL getting chased down by Jinoo. Between waves, Jinoo's just going to surge forward, get a little bit of poke down. XiaoAL is having such a terrible time.
Yeah, he's really not liking it at the top side. It should get better as time goes on, but if he doesn't have vision, he's not going to be able to walk outside of his own tower. He doesn't have the cannon barrage. If Kennen just gets one stun on him, he's instantly dead. Like, Rek'Sai can follow up on that so easy. The Rek'Sai snowballed this far ahead, has a ton of damage, so I don't see XiaoAL ever walking outside of his lane.
And it doesn't sometimes feel like much. Granted, it's just 3 kills for V5, but if you look at what that translates to in gold because of the pressure onto the turret plating, V5 is currently up 3k gold just 10 minutes in. Pepper versus Weiwei here, looking for the dragon.
Yeah, both have the same idea, but V5 have their bot lane intact, so Suning does have to back off here. They at least need to wait for their mid laner. However, if you're looking at the map, Jinoo is also coming down.
Jinoo coming in from the flank on the top side. Weiwei not quite able to get into the pit just yet. SwordArT, Winter's Bite from the side. Dragon down to 1,500. It looks like Suning know they can't contest this one. It's just going to go over to V5 nice and easy.
Yeah, and honestly, I have not seen a bubble land so far. That bubble would have been quite crucial. They could have killed Road without his flash up again, but missing both of those crucial bubbles on Angel's side and letting V5 walk away with a lot.
V5 also, in terms of their items, are doing a lot better. They have the low-cost Proto Belt power spikes on both their mid and top laner, whereas you look at their opponents, it's just the Lost Chapter and the Sheen and Phage for Angel and XiaoAL, respectively. So Korn and Jinoo get so much freedom, and their team overall gets so much movement across the map because they know the opposing laners can't threaten. So now Pepper just setting up for the Rift Herald already.
Yeah, Proto Belt is just such an insane item spike. Only 2,500 gold. I play a lot of Kennen. I don't understand why that item is that cheap. It gives you burst damage, mobility, HP, lane trading power. Like, it honestly is one of the most busted item buys right now, especially for top lane, I feel. And we might be seeing the first tower go down.
Jinoo pressuring pretty hard onto it. We'll be able to pick up the barrel as well. And even if this tower doesn't go down, Bobby, that culling's not going to do a whole lot for you, bud. Even if this tower does not go down, which it does, the Rift Herald is looking to be picked up already by Pepper. So this is a huge amount of gold in V5's pocket.
Look at that gold difference. You know, with that gold difference, he could buy another Proto Belt. That's actually just enough gold for another Proto.
He has enough gold for 2 top laners.
That would be the ultimate dominance move. Just 2 Proto Belts, you know? Heavyweight champion.
Oh my
prediction.
God! Korn, great timing there. The portal jump not going to be able to save him. Ultimate going a little bit wide there, but good setup there by V5. They won't get a whole lot off of it, but they'll get the shove in the mid lane plus the Rift Herald, and this early game is running away for them so far. Just 4k leads so far, but it's 12.5 minutes in. There's the Herald into the mid lane. Once this tower goes down, Suning are going to have one heck of a time bringing this game back.
Yeah, and they don't have a lot of pieces to do that. Their only outscaling position, I would say, is the Gangplank, and he's close to 3,000 gold behind. So it's going to be a long, long road for Suning. They really need to find some picks with Weiwei. Weiwei really has not found action on the map so far. Neither has Angel. So I think they have a lot of tools in their toolkit, but with how far they are behind right now, that timer is ticking down very fast, and they have to convert on something.
They're looking for Pepper here in his jungle, but they'll catch him just after he did the red buff, so he's not going to get spotted. Hawk shot will see them as well. They might be looking for a dive here, but I really don't like their odds. No one on their team is ahead of the opposition, and now Bobby getting slowed out a bit by Y4 just will force them off and negate the play. Like you said, Weiwei has not been able to find a single play this game.
Yep. That's the thing about Rek'Sai. I think Rek'Sai is honestly, you just always take her. She's too good on the map. With that tremor sense, it's so easy to spot out invades, and you can see Rek'Sai taking her own red. Weiwei walking in from the Raptor camps, spotted instantly. He could avoid it, never found the resonating strike, and just walks out free.
So Clement, you've played quite a bit of Kennen top now. How do you feel about Jinoo's pickup of the Spellbinder second?
Well, it's a very good build if you are snowballed. Like, if you want a specific power spike, that's what Spellbinder really gives you. The extra movement speed, you can charge it up, it suddenly gives you that big burst of free AP. So I really see it as a specific timing item. All right, nothing's gonna happen there. I was a bit worried right there.
2 ultimates blown. One of them was Korn's just to steal an ultimate, so we'll just say it's just the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. But now both teams may be fighting over this blue buff, and I don't think Suning should stick around because now they've lost their mid tower. Jinoo can find a flank if he wants to. It looks like Pepper did secure the blue buff, and Korn has one of his own as well.
Suning down 5,000 gold before 15 minutes. This is one of the worst Suning games I've seen so far. We were talking about how Suning's laners typically have kept even or even ahead. But not the case this time. 3 subs coming in and not really finding any action anywhere. Suning's game plan seems to be non-existent at this point.
They're definitely struggling here, and it's only really going to get worse. There's 30 seconds until the next Ocean Drake. This bottom lane tower is, of course, the only remaining outer tower for them to take. And Jinoo just going to head back up into the top lane, keep his push dominance. 50 CS up over XiaoAL, who's only just now completed his Trinity Force versus the 2 items on Jinoo.
And I really don't see how long Suning can keep their own bot lane tower. Jinoo has the teleport ready. It's very easy for Korn to just walk into the bot side. He has lane priority now. Rek'Sai, a great diver. He lands the Q. He can follow up with that R from anywhere. And there's also tons of crowd control in the bot side itself. So if Suning still want that tower, if they want to defend it, they're going to have to pull so many resources there. And at the very least, V5 is going to take full control of the top.
Luckily for them, though, the next objective for both teams is going to be in the bottom lane. They want the dragon. So do V5, but V5 also want that tower. So at least the action's going to be focused around somewhere that Suning want to draw their attention anyways. And they might be able to get a pick here onto Road. Not going to land the stun just yet, but the flash coming in from Bobby9, that is really aggressive. And if they don't get this kill, he is flashless. The ultimate lands from Y4. He's very low on mana, but should be able to get this. And now Pepper looking for a gank. Jinoo comes in. There's SwordArT down. Y4 picking up that one, and 3 members of Suning stuck under the tower.
Suning cannot stay here.
V5 might start looking for the dive. Korn goes in, hits a lot of damage onto Angel, but here comes Pepper the flash. Not going to get the knock-up because of a good timing from Angel, but not good enough. Korn will pick him up, and now V5, 5 kills to 1.
Yep, great mobility play there from Korn, dodging out on the Sleepy Trouble bubble. Even though he didn't land the abduct, he was still able to follow up with the slows from the chain lash. And this is what we were talking about. You know, Suning go in, they did get a lucky pick onto Road, but unfortunately, a bit of mis-execution from Weiwei. Didn't get the kick that he was looking for. Actually takes Road to safety. And V5 just capitalized even more on that bot side.
Now, V5 up in towers, up in gold, up in dragons, possibly up in dead top laners in a second if this gank from Suning comes off. But Weiwei not going to be able to find the Sonic Wave. He is not having a good game. Yeah,
no Dragon Strike on that play either, so there was no way that he would actually kill the Kennen, even if he landed those Qs. Well, taking a look at this play, the Lucian expends his flash early just to get that lockdown, but Weiwei unfortunately not getting the angle that he really wanted, needed to instantly flash out, and look at all the collapsing members from V5's end. SwordArT with a very good exhaust to keep his teammates alive, but that's not really enough. Korn already waiting. You can see him going in. Great mobility, dodges out. Doesn't land this, but doesn't matter. Angel has to use his own perfect timing just to avoid the knockup. And everything goes V5's way.
So now that Suning are in this position, they're down almost 7k gold. Baron's up in a minute 30. They're down 2 Drakes. The next one's going to be Ocean, so V5 have even more sustain. What do they have left that they can do?
That was pretty much my answer.
So it's not looking good for them in short.
No. Like, I was talking about the compositions, but their scaling point is actually inside the Gangplank, and the Gangplank is the most downtrodden of the group. So you don't have a lot of outs with this composition. The bot side doesn't outscale. We've seen the play between Zoe and Sylas, and I think Sylas has actually handled the matchup very, very well. You can see with the mobility, he's able to dodge out on all the skill shots. If Zoe just gets caught once by the abduct, she needs to start blowing summoners. So I really don't see how Suning climb themselves out of this hole. But on the other side, we've been talking about V5. They are a team that has suffered a lot of comeback defeats, and you know, I mean, to be honest, you really can't count them out.
Angel going to be able to dodge out the Enchanted Crystal arrow, but Rhodes coming in as well. So many members of V5 here. Angel barely alive. Phil will get taken down by Korn, and now Glacial Fissure on to 2. They might be able to turn this. Speaking of the throw, V5 Suning going to pick up 2. They're looking for the chase onto Korn. Sonic Wave won't land, so Korn will be able to get out. But Suning pick up 2 on the back, just losing their mid laner, and they'll stop the push.
V5 never disappoint. Oh, true Fiesta unlocked. They still get a lot out of it. Let's not. Okay, they still actually expand on the gold lead. That is true. That is true. However, the play itself was pretty questionable. And well, I guess it's gonna take a couple more plays like that from V5 to really bring it back. Well, let's watch this play unfold. Angel actually managed to tag his Sleeping Trouble Bubble. That was a great abduct coming in from Korn, by the way. Even though he was slowed down, he still gets the Angel kill just to make sure it gets out. It was a really good positioning of the barrel in the cannon barrage by XiaoAL. Pretty much saves that play single-handedly. And Suning, even though they don't claw themselves back in the gold lead, at least they get a morale booster.
They got some, and that's more than we can say for the rest of their game so far. So now Suning going to reset a little bit. V5 looking towards the Baron potentially. They're going to try and sweep this one out. Got the control ward on it. So they're just setting up Vision nice and happy. It is only 21 minutes into the game, but when you have a gold lead as dominating as V5's, Baron is not as scary a prospect as it would be for other teams. I mean, you look at the 80 carry, 2 items plus the VF sword, easy take.
So what we have seen from V5 and the way that they throw team fights has been super unique to only V5. So what they do is that their top laner, their jungler, and their mid laner go in at the same time. Nobody protects Y4. Y4 gets instantly wiped off the map, and then the team fight is turned. That's how we've seen V5 kind of do their version of the throw. But I don't think it's going to happen this time. Like it's really hard. I think Road knows his place in this team composition, and I don't expect it to happen. But if you want to know a little bit more about V5's history, that's exactly how it was.
Well, I mean, you look at that exact condition. You say, okay, Jinoo, Pepper, and Korn dive in. Who lives through that dive at this point? Nobody. Jinoo has a Rabadon, so he has the Spellbinder. Oh
Weiwei.
No, Pepper gets the knockup onto Weiwei. Goodbye, jungler, for Suning. Jinoo with the flank! There you go, that's what I'm talking about. That's the dive coming in. Able to pick up 3, not quite able to make it 4, but now V5 should be able to turn this onto the Baron.
That was so sick. The power of Spellbinders, ladies and gentlemen. The instant burst damage you get from that. Jinoo has been charging that on the side lanes for so long, just waiting for that picture-perfect scenario to use it. He finally got it on 3 people, and unless there's a miracle, this Baron should go to V5.
Okay, all right. No heart attack just yet, Clement. So V5 able to pick that one up. The barrel didn't connect from XiaoAL, and honestly, I'm afraid that if it had, it might have been a steal. But let's look at that fight again, and the pick on the Weiwei.
Yeah, absolutely sick fight. They have the cannon barrage for this as well. That is not XiaoAL's cannon barrage. That's actually from Korn. And look at the amount of damage that Jinoo is able to get with that 3-piece. Decimates the HP bars from both the bot lane and the jungler in the same instance, and they instantly win the fight.
So much AP from Jinoo. Absolutely insane coming out from his build. And now Suning looking for the death rush. It will catch out onto Road, but he'll flash it away pretty easily.
I like that there's still some fight left in Suning. They're down 9,000 gold, but still willing to look for those picks. Not exactly the ultimate I would steal from Suning, but he's probably taken all of the useful ones already. A very long cooldown if you once you've taken a champion's ultimate, it does go on an extended cooldown.
Oh no, Assassin Jinoo coming in will miss the Q as well, but he still might be able to pick up Angel. This is kind of nuts damage. Culling will come out from Korn. He'll just walk that one back, and now V5 still pressuring around the solo lanes. Jinoo just can solo pressure so hard into the enemy team. A little bit disgusting. They'll pick up the mid lane tower, and now Jinoo going to be able to pick up the top lane tower as well. 2 towers in just a minute, and now 11k gold lead for Victory 5. This is looking to be their victory lap.
Yep, pretty much. Suning have to be the one to make the first move here. They don't have a tank in their roster at all. I wouldn't count SwordArT as a tank at this point. He's going to melt to the Kennen Maelstrom. So I think Suning have to be the ones to make the first move, and it's going to have to come from Angel and Weiwei. They have to make a big play.
So far, they've been unable to do that, though. 0-1 and 2 and 0-3 and 1 on the jungler and mid of Suning, respectively. They just haven't found a single play so far this game, especially through Weiwei. He's just not been having it.
Yeah, and we do have to reiterate, whoever drops this series is officially out of playoff contention. There is no chance for them to reach it. And it's a massive game for massive series for both of these teams. Suning, you have to remember, did make playoffs in summer. So for them to grab this new roster, put it all together, and then be worse, that's totally unacceptable for the organization.
I'm not going to be happy with this performance for sure if they're going to lose it. But this game's still not quite over, technically speaking, and there's still 2 more where they can bring it back if it is. Suning desperately trying to defend against the Baron buff. Only 45 seconds remain on it, so there is a chance they can bring it back. But now, Suning have done an admirable job of defending, actually. Just 30 seconds, so they're ticking it down. But with Jinoo split pushing the top lane against XiaoAL, he has a ton of kill pressure, and he's going to need a lot of help if he wants to live through Jinoo. Weiwei maybe going to look for the engage.
Just checking the experience bar. I feel like Jinoo's waiting for his level 16. He's already halfway there. Could decide not to.
There's the crystal arrow onto Bobby9. That's not what you're looking for. Glacial Figure comes out from SwordArT, but it's not enough. They will pick up the 80 carry of Suning, and now V5 can push it in. This one, I don't think they're going to throw, but they don't feel quite as confident, Clement. After picking up 2 inhibitors, they're going to back out.
That was a great arrow being shot by Y4. Knew that Babby didn't have the flash, so Babby was forced to use his stopwatch right there. He had no other outs, and once he came out of stasis, instantly killed.
Really, really unfortunate team fight there from Suning. And interestingly, Babby went for the eye edge second. Okay.
Yeah, like, I understand that thought process, honestly, because if you think about the enemy team, there isn't a lot of armor you want to shred anyway. Like the top laner from Kennen, he's not bringing any armor whatsoever, and you want maximum damage to actually come back in the game. A lot of times when you're behind, you have to play riskier, and damage is the way you claw yourself back from the dead.
That said, V5 not going to have quite as much of an issue. Defensive items picked up across the board there. Zhonya's not quite out for Corn, but he still has his stopwatch. Meanwhile, top lane, Jinoo going to pick up his Zhonya's. Bottom lane, Y4 is still going full damage, and I can respect that, but Pepper is looking towards that GA, already has the Sterix gauge, so a lot of safety coming in from the engaging members here on V5, making it even harder for Suning to stop this push.
All right, boys, are you ready for a miracle?
It's coming. Ready?
Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Right, we're casting a game.
Yep. So, by all means, V5 should easily take this fight and win the game, but they are V5, and this is Suning.
There's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. It will land on the SwordArT, but Jinoo with the flank, he immediately deletes Weiwei. Bobby9 still alive, but it looks like SwordArT going to fall as well. Suning were able to pick up Jinoo at the very least, so now it is a 4v3. Can Suning pull the miracle turn, or is this just going to be V5's road to victory?
I think they should be able to defend this. They should outrange Y4 by quite a bit. Pepper's actually caught out.
It's a lot of damage onto Pepper, and he does not have the GA yet, but look at the Nexus Tower. First Nexus Tower has gone down. Second Nexus Tower, they just need the auto attacks on the Nexus. It's at 3/4 health. Suning trying to defend as best they can. Half health on the Nexus.
Goes in.
They're chasing down, but there goes the Nexus. V5 going to pick up game number 1.
And the white flags are waved from V5. They still cling on to a chance to reach that playoff land. If they win all of the remaining matches, they will tie the 6th to 10th place currently with 7 wins. It's a very treacherous road, almost impossible task, but it is open to them.
They can still bring in their substitutions, still bring back Hacker, still bring back Maple if they want to. SMLZ, even a possibility. But I don't feel like that was necessarily their biggest problem. I think the biggest problem came from the jungle Weiwei, we pointed it out multiple times during the game, just was not making the plays. And when you're on a Lee Sin and you're not able to get plays done early, you're not able to get engages with your Dragon's Rage, what exactly are you going to be able to do?
Yeah, and the biggest issue with that game was Weiwei did a very poor defense of his top laner. Now, to be fair, I think XiaoAL on the first gank, that was completely his problem. Like, you know that the Rek'Sai's there. I felt like maybe Weiwei didn't tell him that the Rek'Sai was in that position, but the wave was coming in. Rek'Sai was known on the top side, so there was no reason for him to be stepping outside of turret at that place for such an easy gank. The repeat gank, however, you can't question why wasn't there someone there? Why wasn't there someone in the vicinity to try and guard XiaoAL? He actually fell down twice super early on, lost his tower, and then that was Herald into mid lane tower, and at 15 minutes, the game looked like it was already over.
Yeah, I mean, 2 kills in 6 minutes, and we pointed it out. After the first gank, there was no ward set up for XiaoAL's defense. I mean, if you don't want to put yourself there, I feel like that's kind of understandable. Maybe Weiwei thought he could make more plays across the rest of the map, but at least find some vision and provide it for your top laner, because if he doesn't have that safety, he's just dead. All he has is W. You know he doesn't have his flash because he burned it in the first gank. Like you said, yeah, that's his fault, but you're the jungler. Your job is just putting out fires across the map. That's what a jungler does in a losing lane. It's just like, okay, I'll get the fire extinguisher, fine, but I swear if you play with gasoline in matches again, XiaoAL, I'm leaving you out to dry.
So really Suning need to find at least one piece that's working on the map. And their bot lane did a pretty good job overall, getting that first kill onto Road, forcing the teleports from Jinoo from the top side, and all of that. But it wasn't really enough. If you want to all in on the bot side, maybe that's the path you want to select. You want to go face-to-face with Y4, but for the rest of the map, at least play a bit more safe.
Yeah, we need to see them play through their better sides and see if they can take it to the 2-1, or if it's just going to be the clean 2-0 here from Victory 5. We'll find out in a few minutes.
先打，进去了，平常哥，沈阳哥把裴奎秒了。这一波上辅的一个 combo 打得非常不错，而且旁边 Thunder 还黏住艾克被这边的 Thunder 给秒掉了。天哪，这一波瑞文要成神了！4打5全杀了，而且只损失掉自己辅助一个人。那这边的话不打了。
哎，这里 AD 王松的位置，他过来2段，这边是给了一个一技能留在原地。 哇！夜完成了一波单杀，
这边倒了一 Q 闪，哐4个人卖出进来，但问题潘奎的伤害太高了，潘奎连斩2人，旁边阿修罗直面了艾克以及阿乐2个人的情况下力不从心啊！哇，这一波，但是最终阿修罗以及班的依然是成功的换了2人，最后一波盛强哥怎么说？盛强哥要救世，盛强哥。 他在救赎他这场比赛，
但是最后那波还是被寡妇给秒掉了。
哎，这边位移一下，这边一 Q， 哎，这一 Q 踢到，但是这边小兵挡到了，回头这里有一点难受，一下回头反杀了小鹏。
哇，刀妹拉到，但是手上是没有大招的刀妹，这波韦恩直接拉起个大招想反打，但是这个刀妹拉走了。
哦，这波王子来了，怎么说？拉一下破败，伤害很高，潘奎要死了。
哇塞，
躲开！我
还能杀！
阿修罗
还能杀！
阿修罗！
天老爷啊，这一波！